It's 11 p.m. and these are today's headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chairs a meeting of the Council of Ministers devoted, among other things, to the situation of cereal storage, the project for the construction of Zaire Media City and the Bashar Tindouf Garaj Bilat railway line. Development efforts will continue until all the commitments will be fulfilled, said the President of the Republic in his message on the occasion of the 63rd anniversary of the December 11 demonstrations 1960. Close-up of the Tindouf Bashar railroad line linking the Garaj Bilat mining site to the rest of the network. Details in this edition. Tragic situation in occupied Palestine. The inhabitants of Gaza are being savagely killed by the Zionist army. The humanitarian and health situation is getting worse by each day, while the organizations are more than hopeless. In Morocco, high executives are the subject to international arrest warrants for their corruption operations within the European Parliament. Welcome back. First of all, the President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, Minister of National Defense, Abdelmajid Tebboune, chaired today a meeting of the Council of Ministers, which discussed presentations including the status of the cereal storage, the cement factory in Jilfa province, and the cement factory project in Al Bayt Sidi Sheikh in Al Bayt province. In addition to following up on two projects to complete the Zaire Media City, the mining railway line linking Bashar Tindouf Garaj Bilat, and the status of seawater desalination plants, as well as the study of data on the balanced supply to national markets. Madam Afa with the whole statement.
After the opening of the session by the President of the Republic, he gave the floor to the Prime Minister to present the government's activity in the last 2 weeks. The President of the Republic then issued a set of guidelines and directives in several sectors. First, and regarding the status of grain storage silos, the head of state ordered the immediate transfer of grain storage silo projects to the governors of the Republic, with the preparation of a comprehensive study on the file under the direct supervision of the Ministry of Agriculture, as well as diligent and strict follow-up of the current agricultural season by assigning the governors to carry out inspection and inspection campaigns, and the daily monitoring of cultivated areas to facilitate the farmers' tasks. The President of the Republic stressed that expanding storage capacities falls within the state's new policy and its forward-looking vision for the issue of food security, encouraging investments in the field of agriculture and opening the way for partnerships with the aim of enhancing and diversifying agricultural production. The Prime Minister and the Ministers of Interior and Agriculture were assigned to finalize the files of agricultural land reclamation by the end of January 2024 and to award ownership contracts to their owners. Second, and regarding the project to complete the Bashar Tindouf Garaj Bilat railway line, the President stressed once again on respecting the deadlines for completing this vital and strategic project for Algeria, and on respecting the quality of capabilities to advance at a pace consistent with international standards in this field, which consists of completing more than 2 kilometers per day. Regarding the cement factory project in Al Bayt Sidi Sheikh in Al Bayt province and the cement factory in Jilfa province, the head of state instructed the industry minister to study all the technical and financial conditions that would allow the launch of the cement factory project in Al Bayt Sidi Sheikh in Al Bayt province. The President of the Republic stressed the acceleration of procedures for completing the cement factory in Jilfa, given its economic and social importance. Regarding the energy sector, the President of the Republic directed the Minister of Energy to revive the Hassi Mas'oud oil refinery station as soon as possible. He also ordered to double efforts and diversify in the production of petroleum products to export them abroad as a major additional value. Regarding the progress of seawater desalination plant projects, the President of the Republic stressed the speedy completion of seawater desalination plants along the country's coastal line to ensure the provision of drinking water to citizens. Concerning supplying the national market with red meat and dry legumes, the President of the Republic stressed the need to maintain the purchasing power for citizens by achieving balance in national markets, providing an accurate perception and study of the needs of the national market in order to maintain price stability and avoid any fluctuation. Regarding the cinematographic industry project, the President of the Republic instructed the Minister of Culture to create a national body that would entrust its tasks to the people of the sector to supervise cinematic work and encourage its advancement in this vital field, especially with the emergence of some high-end dramatic works and young talents in recent years. The President ordered the encouragement of all cinematic talents and energies within Algeria to attract competencies from members of the national community by paving the way for them to present their works and contributions by making the year 2024 the year of the start of film production. The state is committed to financing up to 70% of the cinematic works via bank loans while helping the people of the sector to build film studios and cinema cities, which will restore Algeria to its glory and luster. The Council of Ministers wound up by the approval on the completion of the highway port, which connects the port of Oran to the East-West Highway, and approving an executive decree defining the organization and functioning of the National Urban Real Estate Agency, and a draft deal to complete the development works and various networks for the Media City, Zaire Media City, in addition to the approval of decrees that include appointments and termination of tasks in senior positions in the state.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, sent on Sunday a message marking the commemoration of the 63rd anniversary of the 11 December 1960 demonstrations, where it reads as follows: "We are commemorating the 63rd anniversary of the demonstrations of 11 December 1960 at a time when our country is facing many challenges with a sincere and strong will following the completion of the institutional system. We are taking up these challenges as the state continues to deploy its efforts to build an efficient and competitive economy while improving social life and the quality of citizens' lives. To do so, exceptional efforts have been made in the process of building the new Algeria in order to make up for the difficult situations that have arisen and which society has been experiencing while meeting the aspirations of the brave Algerian people, proud of their belonging to their land of the martyrs and faithful to the November message and to the sacrifices of generations whose glory is remembered in history, a glory crowned by the feats of the militants and war veterans fueled with the outbreak of the November 1st, 1954 by their faith in victory over colonialism and its war machine, armed with destructive weapons and policies. Nevertheless, the free and resilient revolutionaries who showed resistance in the battlefield, out of which they came either victorious or martyred, were convinced that the will to live was truly stronger. The demonstrations of December the 11th, 1960 were truthful embodiments of that will at a time when the glorious revolution was on the verge of victory. The voices of freedom and independence were being raised everywhere, calling for national independence. It is this, the same will to live free, that cannot be buried by the odious bombardments, the savage destruction, the displacement plans, and the ethnic cleansing scenarios that the Zionist occupier has not stopped to commit against our brothers in the occupied Palestine, alongside the genocide and war crimes that have been continued for the last 2 months in Gaza Strip. History will Remember the responsible actors and count them among the criminals and enemies of life and humanity as we recall the grandiose historic images of the demonstrations of 11 December 1960. We bow our heads before the sacrifices of the Algerian people of this eternal moment from which we draw determination and self-denial following the footsteps of the martyrs and mujahideen with the view of pursuing with the efforts of each and every one of us the development of the country. We are committed to ensuring that these efforts do not stop nor will be interrupted by the challenges of resistance of change until we achieve the objectives that we are committed to and that we have set as priorities, whether it be the new model for economic recovery, improving living standards and purchasing power, ensuring the conditions for a decent life, or preserving Algeria's place and role at regional and international level. Thanks to our valiant people's collective awareness of the nature of the challenges and nobility of the national objectives, we have set ourselves and have made significant progress that has enabled our country to open up broad prospects for sustainable development. In conclusion, I would like to join you in remembering our valiant martyrs on this memorable historic occasion and to send my greetings to my Mujahideen sisters and brothers, praying that Allah will grant them long life, health and well-being. Long live Algeria, glory to our valiant martyrs. The least we can say about the situation in Gaza is that it's tragic. Citizens are constantly targeted by the Zionist bombardments, while the global calls for ceasefire have been ignored and even blocked by the American veto. Najah Tayyar.
With no real effort deployed by the international community to stop the genocide that has been going on for 65 days, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has deplored the paralysis of the United Nations in the face of war, regretting the failure of the Security Council to vote for the ceasefire after the American veto. Mediation efforts for ceasefire continue, according to the Qatar's Prime Minister, but without tangible results. The situation in Palestine is getting worse day by day. Meanwhile, the army of the Zionist entity has carried out other violent attacks near Khan Younis in the south and on the road to Rafah on the border with Egypt. On the ground, the battles are mainly taking place in the region of Khan Younis, in Jabalia in the north, and in Gaza City. The Palestinian fighters are still resisting the Zionist entity, which mobilized a great number of soldiers during this operation, in which 27 Palestinians were arbitrarily arrested in different regions of the occupied West Bank, in Tubas, El Khalil, Al-Dahiriya, Beit Lahm, Nablus, and the Qalandia refugee camp. The genocide of the Palestinian people is having a catastrophic impact on the health. The Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, affirms, adding to that the situation is ripe for the spread of deadly diseases and the need to materials have increased significantly and the capacity of the health system has been reduced to a third of what it was. He also laments about the health system in Gaza, which is on its knees and collapsing, with only 14 out of 36 hospitals operating at full capacity. Only 1,400 of the original 3,500 hospital beds are available, while the two main hospitals in the southern Gaza are operating at 3 times their bed capacity, running out of supplies and sheltering thousands of displaced people, according to the Director General. For his part, Philip Lazzarini, the Commissioner General of the UNRWA, accused the Zionist entity of preparing the ground for a mass explosion of Palestinians from the enclave to Egypt, and the Zionist entity's authorities denied this accusation. UNRWA spokesman Tamara El-Rifai added that the United Nations agency teams had only been able to distribute aid in a very small part of the south of the Strip due to the bombardment's intensity, where the situation is becoming increasingly catastrophic. Until now, 70,700 Palestinians have been martyred and more than 49,000 wounded by the Zionist army's aggressions on the Palestinian enclave, which began on October 7th.
On the occasion of the International Day of Human Rights, a date which marks one of the most important global commitments, namely the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, yet its most fundamental principles are violated in the occupied Palestine and even in Western Sahara. More details with Rania Al-Bahri.
December 9th and 10th successively correspond to the anniversary of the adoption of the UN General Assembly of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, a period which also underlines the recognition of racist, colonizing and genocidal political entity on the land of Palestine, which since then has continued to prove to humanity the danger it represents in the region and the whole world and its contempt for international law. Since then, this criminal entity has disgraded UN resolutions when the latter was incapable after several dedicated sessions of voting for a resolution imposing a ceasefire on the genocidal operation carried out before the eyes of the world. Since October 7th, a sordid crime involving images, one of the bodies of children littering the streets, and one of the worst massacres of the century. Western Sahara is another issue which reminds us on these commemorative days of the injustice of this world order that international institutions are incapable of solving. The MINUR, so created in 1991, remains the only UN peacekeeping mission without any role in the human rights. The Makhzen uses the same practices as the Zionist entity derailed all attempts to include human rights monitoring in the mandate of the MINURSO, despite the repeated shocking and degrading scandals revealed by the media around the world on the Makhzen's practices of espionage, as in the Pegasus affair, and corruption of Eurodeputies, as in the Morocco affair. No justice is achieved for the Sahrawi people, despite the numerous complaints, including the sixth filed in November 2022 against Morocco before the United Nations Committee against the torture in Geneva. The situation is not being resolved and repression continues.
Representing the President of the Republic at the inauguration ceremony of the elected Argentina President Javier Milei at the Presidential Palace at the Republic of Argentina in the capital Buenos Aires, and on behalf of the President of the Republic, the President of the National People's Assembly, Brahim Bughali, congratulated the Argentinian President while wishing him great success in his duties. The President of the National People's Assembly also delivered a message from the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, to his Argentinian counterpart. Representing the President of the Republic, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the National Community Abroad, Ahmed Attaf, participated today in the 21st edition of the Doha Forum under the slogan Building a Common Future. The opening ceremony witnessed the participation of Emir of Qatar, Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. The Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf conveyed to him the greetings of his brother, the President Abdelmajid Tebboune, and his wishes of success for the works of the Doha Forum in embodying constructive ideas that contribute to enable the international group to renew its commitments to the principles and foundations of multilateral international action. Facing the current challenges imposed by growing divisions at various levels, discussions on the first day of the works of this forum focused on the Palestinian cause amid the continuous brutal assaults launched by the Zionist forces against defenseless civilians in Gaza Strip. On the sidelines of the Doha Forum, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was received by the Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdurrahman Al Thani, Chairman of the Council of Ministers and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the State of Qatar. The meeting is an opportunity to review the brotherly relations and cooperation between the two countries and ways of strengthening them. Ahmed Attaf was received by the President of the Council of Ministers of the Brotherly State of Palestine, Mohammed Shtayah, who praised Algeria's constant positions and solidarity with the Palestinian people. Foreign Minister Ahmed Attaf had bilateral talks with his Jordanian counterpart, Ayman al-Safadi. The two sides discussed the development of the Zionist attacks in Gaza, alongside the Arab efforts and ways of strengthening them in support of the Palestinian cause. In other news, the railway project was mentioned during the Council of Ministers, a railway that will connect Garaj Bilet to the rest of the network and would allow the transport of passengers and goods from the southwest to the northwest of the country. Yasin Hamdi.
In addition to transporting iron from the Garaj Bilet deposit, the new 950 kilometers long railway line Beshar-Tindouf should ensure the transport of passengers and merchandise. Once finished, this railway will contribute to the socio-economic development of the whole southwest of the country.
This railway project will facilitate the iron ore transport from Garaj Bilet in the province of Tindouf to the Erzurum harbor zone in Iran for export. This project will have a great economic impact on the province of Tindouf. Construction has started between Tindouf and Lasel on 175 kilometers and between Bishar and Bni Abbas.
The passenger stations will be realized in Abadla, Lasel and Tindouf in order to connect by railway these regions and give a new dynamic to the commercial exchanges and economic activities, as well as the permanent mobility between the southwest and the other regions of the country. By doing so, this railway project will allow passengers to save time and reach their destination faster and better than they used to, which will impact the local development and create job opportunities.
Once launched, this railway project will be very beneficial to the citizens of Tindouf and for those coming from other provinces who use this line. It will attract investors from different sectors. We're very optimistic about the future of the local economy here in Tindouf. Several investment projects will be launched in this province thanks to this railway project.
The railway project Beshar-Tindouf that will transport yearly 50 million of tons of iron ore from Garaj Bilet to the future steel factory in Beshar and the Erzurum harbor zone thanks to 8 trains will bring a new socio-economic aspect to the region.
Regarding the Makhzen regime scandals, high executives are the subject to international arrest warrants for their corruption operations in the European Parliament, partially implemented by the Moroccan ambassador to Poland, according to the RTBF television channel investigations. More details with Najah Tayar.
The Makhzen mafia is increasingly implicated in the Pegasus and Morocco Gate scandals, revealing the modus operandi of the directorial regime of the Mohammed VI, which has exploited all the weaknesses of European democracy to deploy its lobbies and try to influence its northern neighbors through corruption and blackmail. It is Brussels that is now at the forefront of Europe's redemptive awakening, following an in-depth investigation by Belgian radio and television station RTBF. International arrest warrants have reportedly been issued for the Moroccan Prime Minister Aziz Akhnouch and the Foreign Affairs Minister Nasser Bourita. Abderrahman Atmoun, the Moroccan ambassador to Poland, has been formally identified as the financier of the criminal gang that has taken over the European Parliament. The latter obviously could not have acted without orders from his immediate superiors. Atmoun has already been the subject of financial sanctions in France, as has Yassine Mansouri, head of the Directorate General for Research and Documentation, who is the subject of an international arrest warrant issued by the European Court of Justice. Moroccan diplomats have also been denied access to the quarters of the European Parliament. The actions of the Makhzen, which paid out hundreds of thousands of euros in cash in this large-scale corruption operation, raise questions about the involvement of Aziz Akhnouch and Nasser Bourita. Eva Khalil, a Greek MP, confessed in the context of the Moroccan Gate investigations to the involvement of an international criminal gang made up of corrupt MPs. Morocco is said to have bought votes to defend its colonization of Western Sahara, all the while trying to silence the European Parliament and the media about its human rights violations, especially being a support that the Zionist entity has benefited from since its deal of the century already guarantees its impunity from any criticism from the local media.
Right, that was it for today's news. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.